and welcome to Lolly's Kitchen. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We took a little me time, us time, and we went over the border and had some fun in the sun and got a little tan, vitamin D, and just a good time to relax and kind of let the world melt away from us. I hope that you were able to spend some time with family. We went with some friends, which are like family to us, so it meant a lot for us to be together and to share and just spend some time just not only absorbing the sun and the fun, but absorbing fellowship with our friends and family. So I hope you got to do that as well. Well, Thanksgiving, it seems like the kickoff for the holiday season. So now that that's done, you've got Black Friday over with, Cyber Monday's done. Most of your Christmas gifts may have been purchased or not, I don't know. But when it comes to Christmas, I like to do some homemade gifts and give things away. And so I typically like to make huge cookie trays and just give them to people. I like to give them to my postman, to the mail carrier, oh, that's the same person, to the trash folks that pick up. You have to watch that one, because if you set it on top and you don't say that it's a gift, they'll think it's trash and then they'll throw it away. So you don't want to do that. And then we like to give it to the neighbors and just to any of our friends. So today, one of the items that's going to be a part of my holiday dessert smorgasbord is going to be toffee. So I love to make almond toffee. And it's a super easy recipe. This one has literally 4 ingredients. I'm counting now to make sure. 4 ingredients plus your topping of almonds. And it is a really, really easy recipe. The funny thing about this recipe is I tend to forget one ingredient all the time. I don't know why, but I do. So we're gonna do this together and we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So get your aprons on, get your pan ready. It's time to cook. So this recipe, like I said, only has 4 ingredients. So it has 2 sticks of butter or 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and chocolate chips and vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So today I'm gonna swap out my vanilla and I'm gonna try something new just because that's me. And I'm gonna try almond extract to see how that will work with this, and I'll let you know. The vanilla works pretty good, but so what you're gonna do is in your pan, you're just gonna begin heating up your 2 sticks of butter. So I like to get my butter nice and melted. You're gonna use a medium heat on this. And you wanna, this one is one of the recipes that's kind of tough for me because you have to have patience. So you don't want to bring the heat too high because number one, you don't want to burn your butter. But once your candy starts cooking, it could take off on you, and you want to make sure that you're the one in control and not your candy. It gets a little expensive during the holiday season, throwing out things that you've burned or not been in front of. So, but toffee is one of my favorite desserts to eat. I used to love Heath bars. So Heath bars, and I'm not a big chocolate person, so okay, don't judge me on that. So I like chocolate if it's mixed with other things. I'm not a chocolate purist, so I don't like pure chocolate. So toffee is a nice balance between that. It has that buttery toffee on the bottom, it has chocolate on top, and then it has almonds kind of to sandwich everything in and makes it delicious. So when I was a kid and I would get Heath bars, I would actually suck the chocolate off as fast as I could, or spit it out or get rid of it. And then I would just suck on the toffee and just enjoy the almondy flavor of that toffee. So yummy. All right, so we're getting our butter nice and melted here. Okay, so now our butter's melted. I'm gonna go ahead and add the sugar to it. So it's 1 cup of just white granulated sugar. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in. Now, when you look at this recipe, it does say that you could do this in a saucepan. I never have done it in a saucepan. I don't know why. I guess a skillet just always kind of came to mind. I have an easier time of stirring it and staying in control. So I just started doing it in the skillet. So I'm gonna mix in my butter and my sugar, and I'm gonna start that cooking. And then what's really weird about this recipe, it calls for 1/4 of a cup of water. So we're gonna go ahead and add the water. Now, water is the ingredient that I typically forget, and it really does change your toffee. So I have gotten in the habit of doing this just by sight. You can cook this until it is at a hard ball or a hard crack on your candy thermometer. I think the reason why I don't use a candy thermometer is they're glass, they're delicate, and I break them all the time. So that might be why. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let this cook. So this is the process where you have to be patient. So I don't know, put something on the TV, put an audiobook on, but just kind of be patient and watch it. So we're gonna stir it, and then we're gonna let it boil, and we're gonna let it keep boiling until until it's at a medium boil, and then we're gonna keep watching it until the color turns to the color of peanut butter. There's your color that you're going for, a peanut butter reference, okay? So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna speed up the film here so that I'm not gonna talk so you don't see my mouth going. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna keep stirring, and like magic, you won't have to have patience, I'll do that for you. Okay, so you can see the color starting to develop here, and I just went and grabbed my container of peanut butter just so you can see this is the color we're going for. So anytime you've looked at toffee, this is that nice caramely color that you're looking for. So this is your muse, use this. This is what we want to see. We're not going to promote the brand, but now we're going to move it off to the side. And so as it starts developing here, this is when I really want to stir it, because what it's doing is it's essentially burning is what it is. So it's cooking that sugar in here, and so I just want to keep it moving so I don't get any scalding or any hot spots on it. And again, this can take off on you pretty fast. So you want to make sure that you have all your ingredients out. It's always a good practice to have all your ingredients out anyway when you are cooking, whatever it is, baking, cooking. So this one, pretty easy, 4 ingredients. So we've used 3, so we have 1 more, and that 1 more is our extract. So I'm using almond this time, but vanilla is what the recipe calls for. I'm just going to be a rebel and see how it tastes. It could taste like yuck, so who knows. So, but when we're ready and we get this color developed into that nice caramely color, like the color of the peanut butter, that's when you're gonna add that extract, and then it really bubbles up. It's because there's a lot of alcohol in any extract, usually like 32% alcohol in most of it, especially vanilla. So what you're doing is you're really burning that alcohol out. So I don't know if you knew this, but there is so much alcohol in different extracts like vanilla and stuff that sometimes kids will sneak it to get a high. They'll drink the vanilla, and sometimes people that have a problem, they may drink things like that if they're trying to hide it from their family and that. So if you have, and I heard that one time, and our oldest son had some problems, and so I heard that and I'm like, no, that can't be true. And I went and got my big bottle of alcohol, and do you know, it was all the way down just to where the label was, so I couldn't see how much was in there. So sneaky, huh? All right, so now you can see that this color is nicely developed, so we're right at that color, so see the difference? And now I'm gonna go ahead and add my extract. And you hear that sizzling. And then that develops it out. Oh, I love the smell of almond. So that develops it out, I have a speech impediment there, quicker. So now, I think this is gonna be about done. Like I said, you can cook it to that hard crack, but like I've been doing this a lot. This is my go-to every year, so I've kind of gotten to know the color. Now one thing, if it's not right, you're gonna see, because the sugar's gonna crystallize in there and it's gonna separate and it's not gonna look good. If you can see this when I'm moving it, it's easily going right back together. There's no oils that are separating. When I draw my line across here, it's all filling back in. So all right, so now I'm gonna take this off the heat, and then you wanna have your pan ready. So I just have a cookie sheet that I've lined with foil because that makes it easier. So if you don't know what is the temperature of hard crack is 305 degrees. So you wanna make sure that you don't get this on your skin, okay? So this will set up pretty fast. I'm gonna go ahead and it's nice to have it thick. You usually don't want it too thin. So we're gonna just let this set up. So it will set up, it'll probably take about a half an hour to set up. If it's cold where you're at, typically I tend to put this outside to help speed up that process. If you're doing other things, just leave it in your kitchen. So this is gonna take about 30 minutes or so to set up. It just depends, it's how you do it. So if you have other projects you're doing or you don't need it right away, sometimes I will just stick it in the cold oven and just let it set up in there. I'll just leave it on the counter unless I'm afraid the dogs are gonna get it. And then sometimes I might even put it into the garage up on a shelf where it's cold, and then that's gonna help speed up that process. And it's kind of cold here, so I'm probably gonna do that so I don't have to sit for a half an hour. In the first 10 minutes though, you just wanna let it start getting to where it's maybe not moving as much, so let it cool a little bit here. And then once I cool it here, once this cools for just a few minutes, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add chocolate chips to it. I like to use the semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use milk chocolate, you can do whatever you'd like. You may not, if you don't like chocolate, you don't even have to put chocolate on it. You can just be a toffee purist if you want. But I like to let this set up a little bit, but it needs to still be hot to put the chocolate chips on it because this is what melts the chocolate chips. I think one cup is a little ambitious, but that's what the recipe said. So I typically just shake over chocolate chips just freehand until I've covered predominantly the whole toffee, and then I use my spatula to go back and smooth them all out. So I'm gonna see, how is this? Okay, so see how now it's not moving too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start sprinkling my chocolate chips on it. They're actually sinking down into it, which might be I'm just rushing this process a little bit. Oh, I dropped a chocolate chip. Get that. I tell you, those dogs, they have supersonic hearing. They were on the couch sleeping and hear a chocolate chip hit the ground, and dark chocolate's not good for dogs. All right, so I guess that did work out pretty good. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and spread the chocolate chips around so it melts, and then we're gonna let it cool, and then once it's cooled, we're gonna break it apart and get ready to serve it, okay? We'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I smoothed out my chocolate, and I'm so sorry I didn't show you that. But your chocolate chips will start to melt, and then you're just basically gonna smooth it all across, give it a nice, it doesn't have to be pretty because it's gonna get covered. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that all of my toffee is covered. So it's been sitting for about 15 minutes or so, so I wanted to just make sure. And then now I have my nuts nice and toasted. Oh, one thing I like to do, little secret, I like to put salt on my chocolate. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little salt in here. The nuts that I'm using, the almonds, I'm just using a slivered almond that I've crunched up. And I believe, I'll put the recipe, I'll tell you how much it is. This looks like a lot of salt, but it's really good with the chocolate. And then I put that on first, just let that sit in there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put my nuts on here. And you wanna do this while your chocolate is still setting, so it's still soft, because you wanna make sure that the almonds stay. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I was gonna use my hand, but I'll use a spatula. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pat this down just so that those almonds stay. So now that this is, it's essentially done, now it just needs to come to a complete cool. Depending on what time frame you have, if this is an immediate gift, you know, you just take it till you can lift it up and it's nice. You want to make sure your chocolate is set. So it's not glossy like this. It'll kind of look like a matte finish, and then you'll know that it's dry. It's like paint. You'll know when it's dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this out in the cold garage to let it set, and then we're gonna get ready to do our next candy. So I thought I'd give you a treat and do 2 candies for today. Sometimes I do 2 candies, some fudge, and a lot of cookies. So today we're gonna do these 2 candies. We did our Almond Toffee, and next we're gonna do Peppermint Bark. So again, I don't like pure chocolate. I like it mixed with something. So this Peppermint Bark has the dark chocolate, light chocolate, and then it also has peppermint, which I love. I do like peppermint mochas too. Those are really good, yum. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let this sit while I do my next project. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and get prepared, and then get ready for the next one. I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. Now we're on to our next piece of candy. So we are gonna do Peppermint Bark, and it's super easy. We're gonna melt our chocolate, and so I've got my water boiling because I like to melt my chocolate in a double boiler. So this recipe, again, super easy. It's 4 ingredients. How about that? So your 4 ingredients are 24 ounces of dark chocolate, 24 ounces of white chocolate. You need peppermint candy. So I've got one of these gigantic peppermint sticks. I already broke it apart because we're gonna have some fun, take some aggression out with this. And we're gonna smash it, and that's gonna be the topping. And then we have about a teaspoon. The recipe didn't actually tell me how much. I guess it thought it was my kind of recipe, so just go with your gut. So I'm gonna use about a teaspoon of peppermint oil. So a little bit goes a long way. So we're gonna have that set off to the side. Now, breaking up peppermint pieces is super fun. But there is an easier way. There's actually peppermint candy pieces already done in a bag, so you can do that. This is it's 50 cents for this big long stick, which is gonna be a lot cheaper than doing the bag. I think the bag is, you know, like $3.50 or something like that. So this is your easier, cheaper way to go. And it's so much fun. So I took the plastic off of it. I'm gonna put it in a Ziploc bag, just for the pieces. Usually when people break this apart, they like to do it with a towel over it and that. I just like to see it. I just am not gonna hit it that hard. So my water is up to boil now, so I'm gonna take this off. You saw me burn my hand there. We take steam very seriously in this family. So wash your fingers. All right, so so a double boiler is basically 2 pans. So you have your water in one, and then I have my second pan. So this is a poor man's double boiler. These are the pans I have. A lot of times in your sets, they'll come with the double boiler pans, and if you've ever wondered what would I use this for, well, this is what you would use it for. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting our chocolate in here. So we have this in here. Now, you can melt your chocolate in the microwave. Totally fine. If you have a microwave safe bowl, which means it's not gonna burn you, you can put your chocolate in there, and then you're gonna do, I don't know what it said, 3 minutes or something like that. You know, you wanna keep stirring it stuff. I don't like to do a lot of things in the microwave if I can help it. I don't mind reheating food, but actual cooking and doing things that take a long period of time, I don't like to do it. I did a recipe, I've done this recipe many times, and I feel like the chocolate stays melted and more pliable when it's done in a double boiler than in the microwave. The microwave is changing the chemical component of it, the molecules, all of that. It's cooking it with radiation. It's a whole nother science lesson, but I just think that this is a more natural, better way to do it. It does take a lot longer, but it's, you know, it's fun. So we're gonna go ahead and just put this chocolate's already starting to melt. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of the chocolate in. take care of that piece that we lost, and start letting this melt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep watching it. The other thing too is when you are doing a double boiler, you have less of a chance of scorching your chocolate than the microwave. The microwave gets hot spots, you've seen it, and it can burn things. So this is a better way that you're not gonna scorch your chocolate, okay? All right, let's just keep watching it. Okay, now we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna pound this. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. It's just a tappity tap tap, tappity tap tap. Okay, so you gotta love to have some really cool tools in your kitchen. I did this with a meat tenderizer. You can use a rolling pin if you have that. You could use a pan. You could just use another skillet and pound it out. You don't want to pound it till it's powder because you want that crunch on there. I do have powder in there, but mostly it's the crunch. You also don't want to beat the bejeebers out of it so that you're breaking through. I've got a little breakage through the plastic, but that's one of the things. But it is kind of fun. So, you know, when you're having a tough day, this might be the candy that you want to make to take a little aggression out. Just picture somebody's beautiful face there that you're just tappity tap tap tap. Okay, that was bad. That was not very Christian. I'm sorry. So disregard that whole thing. Ha! But maybe not. So, all right. So our chocolate's starting to melt. So you're gonna use, you can either use dark chocolate chips, or this was called, it's just dark chocolate squares, and it says on it, it's a Walmart brand, and it says make your own almond bark. And so that's what we're using this for, to make peppermint bark. So it's gonna melt pretty nicely. It looks a little more milk chocolate than dark chocolate, but we're gonna try it out. Okay, and then what we're gonna do once this is done, you put the peppermint oil into the vanilla. So this one does take a little bit more time because you have to set these chocolates individually. So I'm gonna melt this out, and then I just have a cookie sheet. It doesn't have sides on it because the chocolate really doesn't travel too far. It's not like that toffee that we just did that really runs around. This one, and your chocolate will set up pretty fast. So what I've done with this one, once I get it out on the pan, I'll put it in the fridge for maybe 5 minutes. Again, you want to take that sheen off that chocolate. You just want to let it set. And then once I get that going and get it ready to be the second layer put on it, is when I start my second layer, because you don't want your chocolate just sitting around constantly cooking and stuff. So once I get this pretty close to being done, I don't know, so I used dark chocolate chips on my last one, and I haven't used this before. I experiment with you. See, you get to see the benefits of this. And this one, I'm sure it's gonna turn out pretty good, but I think the bitterness of a dark chocolate is better. And so this is definitely a milk chocolate. I questioned it when I was in the store, and I do have dark chocolate chips, but I chose not to add them. But I'm kind of wishing I had put the dark chocolate in here. We're just about melted, just a couple more chunks in here, and we'll be done. See, this goes pretty fast. I mean, yeah, it might go a little faster in the microwave, but again, I just don't like to change the chemical component of my food. I don't like to keep my phone against my head either. All those things are gonna catch up with us someday. And I'm getting a facial because I'm getting all nice and steamy. My pores are opening, and they're not opening in the chocolate though, so don't worry about that. But it's nice and refreshing, actually. I should put peppermint oil in the water. That would be wonderful. Or eucalyptus or something. Okay, so my chocolate is done. Well, I think this will be good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. I'm gonna set this over to the side here. And I'm gonna just move this for just a quick second so I can bring my pan over so you can see it. All right, so remember, this is gonna be hot. So the first time I did this, I used a bowl on a pan, and that was really hard to work with. Okay, so now we're gonna spread this where we would like it to be, and depending on how thick you like your bark is how you're gonna spread it. So we're just gonna kind of spread it all the way around. And we have the equal amount of vanilla to cover it, so we should be fine wherever we're spreading this to spread the vanilla. One thing I do think though, the harder you can get this chocolate, because your vanilla is going to be hot when you put it on, sometimes there'll be a little bleed through, so you want to work fast. So the colder you can get your chocolate, dark chocolate, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in the fridge or maybe even the freezer just to, again, let it cool, and then we'll get going on our vanilla when this is ready. Okay? All right, we'll be back when it's cool. And we're back. Now, my chocolate, you can see it's been cooling, so you can see how it's more of a matte finish. I gotta pick it up. See how it's more of a matte finish, and you could tell it's lifting on the side here, so it's definitely ready to go. So it's pretty much, I put it in the freezer, so it's frozen. So now I went ahead and I started using my, I started melting my white chocolate. So again, it's just a vanilla white chocolate. I think all white chocolate is vanilla, I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna melt this. Got my double boiler going. What I do is since I'm using the double boiler, during that time, I left my water on, not at a full boil, but at a low boil, just so I don't have to start all over. So I brought it back up to hot or high so that it's gonna start boiling again, and it's gonna start melting this chocolate. So once I get this chocolate melted, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my peppermint oil to the white chocolate, and then we're gonna pour it on top of the dark chocolate, add our peppermint crunches on top, and then we're gonna put it back into, so we're gonna go ahead and melt this, and I don't remember how long it took last time, but it's probably gonna take the same amount of time. So we're gonna come back. Okay, the white chocolate seemed to melt a little bit different than the dark chocolate. It seems like it's not as smooth. It's a little lumpy, but you know, sometimes good things come with lumps, except gravy. Lumpy gravy is never good. Okay, so now we're gonna add our peppermint oil or peppermint extract. So you wanna make sure you use peppermint extract that's for cooking. No essential oils, no trying to repurpose things. I know I tried to do that kind of thing, and you can't do it. And funny thing is with all the essential oils that are out there now, recipes are actually starting to say that. No, don't do that. So, all right. Well, this one, we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Move this out of the way here. So remember I said, you know, you want your chocolate nice and cold. So we're gonna go ahead and just put this on here. And the first time I did this, I used white melting chips. You know, like Gerdetti's has got something, and just Walmart brand is good too. And I think I like that better than this. I think this would make a nice base for something, but I'm not sold on the top part here. All right, so we want to cover all of our chocolate. Well, it's all chocolate, right? So we're gonna cover our dark chocolate, sorry. And then the more that I'm working it, you're gonna see a little bit of bleeding through. So you wanna do this kind of fast. Don't do a lot of drag time. Take our peppermint chips, and we have peppermint oil in the chocolate, and we're just gonna put this on here. So this should be good. I like these nice big chips in here. All right, so off to the freezer again to cool. Again, if you want to set this off to the side, anything like that, depending on your time frame, but we're gonna let this cool completely, and then we're gonna break it into big chunks, and I'm gonna show you how you can put a package together to give to somebody. We'll be back. Okay, so our chocolate is cold. It's ready to be broken apart. It looks really good. It's all stuck together. So I didn't show you this on the toffee, but it's gonna be the same thing. So you're just gonna get your hands in there, and you're just gonna push and break. This is our gift ideas. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. I have a little gift box here that I already put some of the toffee in, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some of my pieces of peppermint bark in here. I always want to be mindful if you have somebody that has an allergy to nuts, so I wouldn't package these together for the same family if somebody has a nut allergy. So there's a nice little gift that you can do for somebody. It has a neat little lid here, so we can have that. And then also another idea for a smaller gift would be to get a little bag like this. I lined it with foil inside, and then I put my candy in there. And so if you don't have a big, you know, if you're giving it to one person, you're not giving it to a big family, this is another way that you can seal this up and give this. And then when you have your meal and you have friends over, or you want to have your cookie tray out, depending on what you do, you might just want to do a couple things. Then you can just get a nice little tray like this and put it all together, and there you have your little centerpiece if that's what you want. So we made 2 yummy candies, 4 ingredients each one, a little bit of time, a little bit of love equity in there, stirring it around and being patient with it. But all that love seeps into the candy, and everybody can taste it when you hand it to them. It really didn't take a lot, but the effort will be noticed and appreciated by all your friends. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we're just getting started. The cookie season is on its way, so be ready. I'm gonna be going in my mad frenzy. So what I like to do is we actually have a little basket out front for the delivery people where we have drinks and we have snacks. I said earlier that we give it to, you know, like the postal carriers and the delivery people and stuff like that. So these are nice little bags just to have around. I might make some of these up and put them in our little outdoor gift bag for people to choose. It just, it's a nice time of year to be generous, to give, to be kind. It's not very expensive to do, and it just shows that you went that little extra mile for them. Thank you all. Be kind. Remember, be the change you want to see in the world. It starts with us. Until we meet again, thanks for coming to the kitchen. Bye-bye.